welcome to another segment of Driver's Seat. Today, AutoNet TV's Susan Wood will be discussing automotive diagnostics. Now, Susan, some people are confused about being charged for diagnostic services for a vehicle repair. What can you tell us about this?
Thanks, Joel. You know, many services include diagnostic fees. I took my laptop in for a problem and left a deposit for diagnostics. When we go to the doctor for a medical problem, we're paying him to diagnose our ailment. And of course, for the tests that go along with it. So receiving a diagnostic charge for a tricky automotive problem shouldn't be a surprise. Automotive diagnostics can cover quite a range. If you hear a noise in your brakes, a quick visual check is usually enough to know what needs to be done. If you're having an intermittent problem with your engine, a diagnosis may be much more involved. In my investigation, I found the most confusion comes when the problem involves that check engine light. The check engine light comes on when the engine management computer has sensed a problem. The computer monitors many sensors throughout the vehicle. When one of these sensors has a reading that's out of parameters, the computer will record a trouble code and turn on that check engine light. A scan tool is plugged into the onboard diagnostics port on the car or truck, and the trouble code is read at that point. This is where the misinformation seems to come in. There's a common misconception that the trouble code tells the technician exactly what's wrong. Why then is there a diagnostic charge? The scanner just gave the diagnosis, right? Well, the reality is much different. The trouble code just tells the technician what engine parameter is out of range, not what's causing it. The technician needs to determine the underlying problem that's causing the symptom. For example, a code is recorded saying that there's too much oxygen in the exhaust. There are many problems that could cause that sensor reading. The technician makes a list of the most likely causes and begins tracking down the source of the problem. Service centers subscribe to databases that document possible causes for a given trouble code. They outline procedures for confirming a diagnosis and provide the documented fix. The databases are specific to each vehicle and engine combination. Well, as you can imagine, some diagnoses are quick and easy. Others more involved and rather difficult. Of course, your service center wants to figure out what's wrong with your car and get you back on the road as quickly as possible.
Now, I've heard that you can take your car to an auto parts store and they can read your trouble code and tell you what to do.
Well, Joel, they can plug into a diagnostic port and read some of the trouble codes, but as we've discussed, knowing what the code says and knowing the problem that triggered the code, those are two different things. Even a very knowledgeable parts specialist can't diagnose a tricky problem in the parking lot. And there's a scanning equipment itself. The service center will have very high-end diagnostic equipment and software that can read proprietary codes for different vehicle makers. The simple handheld models used at the parts store can only read generic codes.
Thanks, Susan. Sounds like it's a lot better to have a service professional get the right diagnosis so the right problem can be fixed. And for more information on this and other topics, check out our videos at AutoNetTV.com. We'll be right back.